Oyo ye munnansi wa Turkey Kerim Ray ng'atemera mu gy'obukulu 6 nga yakulira kampuni ya Yaman International Limited essangibwa mu bitundu by'e Mukono wamu ne Eric Avunarongo ono Munnayuganda abalabiseeko ku kkooti edda erisookerwako ey'e Makindye ewozesa emisango gy'ebyomutindo eby'ensolo wamu n'obutonde bw'ensi. Bano gye buvuddeko mu kkooti eno bakkiriza omusango ogw'okuyiwa malamu mu lutobazi lwa Lwajjali nga lusangibwa mu bitundu by'e Mukono era ng'omusango gw'okubiri gugamba nti Kerim yalemererwa okugoberera ebiragiro ebyamuweebwa nnema wakati mu kukolera mu lutobazi luno. Mu kkooti eno ekubirizibwa omulamuzi Gladys Kamasanyu babadde balabiseeko okuweebwa ekibonerezo oluvannyuma lw'okukkiriza omusango guno.
When marram is deposited in wetlands are suffocated. They cannot serve the purposes that they are supposed to serve, which humans actually cannot serve. Which comes with a lot of consequences to humans and nature generally. This country, Uganda, has already suffered enough consequences that come as a result of tampering with wetlands. There has been plenty of evidence of flooding, including flooding in the heart of the city. Humans and wildlife have died and property has been destroyed as a result of the floods. In this case, Yaman Construction Limited, a company where Kerim Ray, the first convict, is a director, that company was granted a certificate of approval of environmental and social impact assessment 18516. It was issued to the company on 14th of June 2024. This certificate was admitted here as prosecution exhibit number 4. The proposed project in the certificate was a concrete products manufacturing factory. Concrete products manufacturing factory. Concrete products manufacturing. And it was to be located along Kampala-Jinja Highway. In Gongobe Village, Seta Parish, Goma Division of Mukono Municipality, Mukono District. The area covered by the certificate of approval was set out in Figure 1. Figure 1 of the certificate, on the certificate. And the area was at GPS coordinates. I'll read the coordinates. 468771 ME and 41032 MN. So the coordinates for that particular area where the project was approved to be were set out. They were clearly put in the certificate. One of the specific conditions of approval of the project
yange ekimukakakulizo akaweebwa okuba pulojekiti nesobola okugenda mu maaso.
As set out under paragraph 4, subparagraph 3 of the certificate, was that the project components and activities must be restricted to the area as indicated by the GPS coordinates in the said figure 1 of the approval. The inspection report that was tendered in this court and admitted as prosecution exhibit number 1 indicated that when an inspection was done,
Omuvunaanwa omukulu Kerim Rai atanziddwa engassi ya bukadde 2 eza Uganda oba okumala mu nkomi emyaka 5 singa tazisasulwa.
or an imprisonment term of 12 years or both.
Obokola obusibe bwa myaka 12 mukomera obokola ebibonerezo byonna okusasula engassi n'okukola obusibe.
In this case, the convicts pleaded guilty. They did not waste court's time and other resources that would be involved in their full trial. They don't deserve to be sentenced to the maximum penalties that the law provides. However, they deserve to be helped to change. And the punishments imposed to them should be those that send a message out there. To all those who have not yet been arrested and prosecuted. I did consider the participation of each of the convicts, their level of participation. They are at different degrees. In this case, Kerim Rai, the first convict, is a director of Yaman Construction Company Limited. He is an owner of the company. And the one who applied for the environmental impact assessment certificate whose terms he was well aware of. Yeah, because he was going to implement a project in the area where the approval had been done. Kerim Rai deserves to be helped to change and therefore respect the law in Uganda. And therefore to never act with impunity again.
kyabe nga taddamu kukola bintu ebyo na mu mutima gutali mulungi.
If he has to implement any project in Uganda again.
Bw'anaaba nga anaddamu okuba nga ana project endala gy'agenda nayo maaso wano mu Uganda.
On the other hand, Avnalo Eric was a worker for Kerim Ray, the first convict.
Ate ku ludda olulala Avnalo wali mukozi wa kampani ne wa project.
He's aged 24 only.
Alina emyaka 24 gyokka.
Avnalo told this court that he was not aware of the area where he was, backfilling for his boss was not approved for backfilling.
Kiranga twamanya nti nno ekifo ekyo ekya boss kiwalokawo kyali tekirina kuba nga kiyiwamu.
So for their different degrees of participation, the convicts will be sentenced differently.
N'okusinziira buli omu ebyenyigira mu kukola emisango gino eno, kkooti ekizude nti nno buli omu ajja kuba nga weebwa ebibonerezo bya njawulo.
The convicts are therefore sentenced as follows.
So muweereddwa ebibonerezo bino wammanga nga ku musango ogusooka.
For the offence of failure to comply with the conditions stipulated in the certificate of approval, Kerim Ray, the first convict, is sentenced to a fine of 150 million Uganda shillings only. In default, should he fail to pay the money, Kerim Ray, the first convict, will serve an imprisonment term of 5 years. On count 2, for the offence of depositing maram in Rajali wetland, Kerim Ray, the first convict, is sentenced to a fine of 50 million Uganda shillings only. In default of which, Kerim Ray, on count 1, will serve an imprisonment term of 2 years. On count 2, Avnalo Eric, the second convict, is sentenced to a caution. Should you go to work anywhere, be sure you know where you're working. And this is how the sentences for Kerim Ray will be executed. The fines are cumulative, which means it will be the 150 million Uganda shillings and 50 million Uganda shillings, which makes a total of 200 million Uganda shillings only. The imprisonment terms will run concurrently. If he serves the custodial sentence, the period that the convict has spent on remand should be deducted from his sentences.
Omulamuzi era mu kumuwa ekibonerezo ayongeddeko nti ono alina okufuba okulaba nga azzaawo olutobazi lwa Rajjali.
And this is an order. It is ordered that Kerim Ray, the first convict, restores the area of Rajali wetland system in which which he deposited the marram. This will be done under the inspection of the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA. The restoration process should be done within 30 days from today. You have a right of appeal.
Okusinziira ku bujulizi obuli mu kkooti bulaga nti Kerim Ray NEMA yali yamuwa ekitundu ku ntobazzi luno eka z'obutundutundu 410 wabula ono mu kumenya amateeka yagenda mu maaso n'okukolera emirimu gya kampuni ye ku yiika 2 n'akatundutundu kamu ekyadibaga entobazzi ya Lwajjali.
On the first day of July 2024,
yalaga bulungi nti nnaku z'omwezi gw'omwezi ogw'omusanvu ekyo ekyo ekyagenda okuba nga kirambulwa.
NEMA inspectors established that the project had started with clearing of the vegetation.
Yalaga nti nno project yali abakugu ba NEMA bagende balaga mu report eyo nti okutandika batandika na kusenda ebirime ebyaliwo.
Clearing of the vegetation and backfilling of marram into Rajali wetland.
Waliwo okusenda omuddo gw'ebirime ebyaliwo ate n'okuyiwamu marram.
On an area that was measuring 2.5 acres.
Kino kyakolebwa mu kitundu ekiweza acres 2 n'ekitundu.
Out of which 0.4 acres had been approved for the project.
Ono zaali ziva ku 0.8 zibaali bamaze okukkiriza.
Only 0.4 acres had been approved for the project in the certificate of approval.
Ne certificate kiraga nti 0.48 kyekifo kyokka kyokka kye baali bakkiriza project okuba ng'ekozesa.
Another finding was that Yemen Construction Limited had extended about 2.1 acres outside the approved area.
Era kiraga nti no kampuni yali yeeyongeza obugazi bwa acres 2 n'akatundu kamu mu ekyo certificate kyeraga baali balina okukoma.
And of which 0.8 acres were onto the wetland.
Kati obutundutundu 8 bulaga nti bwali buli mu kifo ekyo ky'olutobazi.
And 1.3 acres on dry land.
1.3 acres obugazi obwo nabwo buli eno awatali mazzi oba wakali.
It was further established that the project had extended past the approved area as per the certificate.
Kyazulwa nti no project eno yali yeeyongeza geraganya ne project kye baali bamaze okukakasa abanene yeeyongezaayo.
And the total extension was 2.1 acres.
Nanga zaali acres 2 katundu kamu zaali zeeyongeza okusinziira ku baali balina okukoma.
Paragraph 4.1 of the report shows a map of the extent of encroachment on the wetland system.
Era lipoota eraga maapu eraga kifo ki awaliwo yongezeddwako ku lutobazi.
It shows that the approved plot was 0.4 acres.
Era nga bakkizibwa mu lipooti eraga ezaali 0.4 awaliwo n'okuba nga wakolebwa.
But 2.5 acres were cleared and 0.8 acres of the cleared place were in the wetland.
Ebitundu 8 ba 0.8 ko awasembebwa kyali bali lutobazi kyali mu lutobazi.
The photos admitted in this case as prosecution exhibit number 3 and photos that were attached onto the inspection report, they show the marram deposited in the wetland and some waterlogged areas.
Biraga awasembebwa nga kiri mu lutobazi n'awali amazzi.
From the inspection report, clearly it cannot have been by accident that the said part of the wetland was encroached on by the convicts.
okusinziira ku report kiraga nti tekyali kuba nti kitali kigendera okugamba nti projekiti eyo yeesendeza wawe yalina okukoma.
No, it's not by accident that the said part of the wetland was encroached on by the convicts.
Tekyajja buzinga tekigerereddwa nti no awo mutobazi olwo nti no projekiti eyo oba mwagenda makini yeesenzaako.
The area was too big compared to the small approved area. Area was very small compared to the cleared area, which included the wetland and other dry area. Now, this is a form of impunity that must be stopped. It should be stopped for the good of this nation and us who live here. And this can be achieved through imposing deterrent punishments. Section 157, paragraph F and I of the National Environment Act, Cap 181, under which Karim Ray was convicted, provides for a punishment. It provides for a punishment of a fine not exceeding 2 billion Uganda shillings only, or an imprisonment term of 15 years, or an imprisonment term of 15 years, or both. Section 55, subsection 1, paragraph D of the National Environment Act, Cap 181, under which both convicts were convicted, provides for a punishment of a fine not exceeding 600 million Uganda shillings.
Wabula omulamuzi Gladys Kamasanyu omuvunaana Eric Avunoro amulabudde ku misango egibadde gimuvunaanwa oluvannyuma lw'okubanga mukama we Karim Ray ye yali yamuwa omulimu guno. Kigambibwa nti ababiri bano omusango guno baaguzza ng'ennaku z'omwezi 30 omwezi ogw'omukaaga omwaka gwa 2024 ku kyalo Gogombe Seta Parish mu ggombolola y'e Goma mu disitulikiti y'e Mukono. Omulamuzi Gladys Kamasanyu mu kubawa ekibonerezo ategeezezza nti eggwanga Uganda lizze likosebwa mu ngeri ey'enjawulo oluvannyuma lw'abantu okudibaga obutonde bw'ensi naddala bwe kituuka ku ntobazi. Omusango guno gwabavunaana okusinziira mu katundu 55 mu kaageemu era ng'okusinziira ku tteeka erikwatagana ku butonde bw'ensi omuntu yenna singa abazizza omusango ekika kino atangizibwa engassi ya bukadde 600 eza Uganda oba okusibwa mu nkomo emyaka 12 oba si kye ky'okukola ebibonerezo byonna.
So, Liang Cheng Hu Dong Zhu, Zidong Zhuo, Jizing Liang, and Wang PH1